Hi everyone, Jesse here, and I'm real excited to say that I've just started the Ecological Landscaper Immersion and Farm School at the Permaculture Skills Center here in Sebastopol, California. So this video is about that first week of this program. It's a 13-week program, and I'm inviting you all along to experience it with me. It's a little hard to figure out how to film while I'm taking class and everything. I'm still figuring that out. So this video is kind of just there'll be little snippets of what I experienced and the different people who were teaching us in different subjects that we covered. So enjoy the video and keep on watching for the next 13 weeks. It's going to be an incredible adventure. The first 2 weeks of the program are what's called a land literacy intensive. We covered the basics of permaculture design and ethics in the first couple class sessions, and then we moved on to the basics of soils and water. This here is Brock Dolman of the Occidental Arts and Ecology Center. He taught us all about water, how it works, how it moves on the land, and here he's just sharing with us a slideshow of some of his travels across the world and how they deal with water issues in those areas. Next, we moved on to the design process and our first design project. Former students of the ELI program, Fani and Sarah, showed us how to use Google Maps and Google Earth to project a map and get a base map of the property which we're going to be designing. On a personal note, I found a really excellent place to live just around the corner from the Permaculture Skills Center. My friend Miguel lives here, and he's got a cob pizza oven, so we had a pizza party and I got to meet everybody there. The next morning, we moved into body mechanics with Michelle Vesser, a longtime farmer. She was teaching us how to properly use tools, how to use our lower body instead of our upper body, keeping our core and our back straight so we don't injure ourselves over the long, laborious task of farming.
So just stay right there. So what do most of you see?
Really?
Yeah, so it's like a lot really back down in here. So one of the things with the shovel, are you left-handed? Yeah. Okay. So one of the things with the shovel is that you could use a lot of the idea of fulcrums and levers. So for me, it's like going in, and then I come back, and I could just do this. I could just use the weight of my hand and my body to come up so that my back's not going. Because what happens is you're down here, and then if you have to move it, most of us move with our back. So that's the place that you get hurt on. So if you could come here, pull back, and you could use your leg, or you could just use your lever system, and then you could move it. So then you're here, and you're up.
For myself, and probably many others in the class, it felt a little strange to learn how to use a shovel again after using one for so many years, but I could definitely see the benefit in using tools in this way. There's much less of a chance of injuring yourself.
See this as an extension of this leg and of your body. And so what I was showing you over there in the rocks is you want to have this back foot at a 45-degree angle, and then you go in. And so I have my weight forward, and then I'm rocking, and each rock I'm kind of pushing in. I'm sitting down, and I'm just going back and forth. And right now we just really, there's different places I found that are easier than others. We just are really wanting to break this open so we could weed. So we'll start in the middle and then go out.
So when you're working, like I'm a tall guy, I gotta really open my legs up and spread my legs out and then get lower, and then having that gives me more leverage, right? I worked in road construction. I shoveled asphalt for 2 years, right? I used to shovel like this. One day someone showed me to use my legs, right? See, I'm upright, using my legs like this, like sweeping. I'm like not even using my upper body. It's all lower body. Farming's all your lower body. It's all like lowering your center of gravity and being that upright Homo sapien. We added the amendments to it, and we sprinkled like, a little dusting of compost on top. And we went to the front of the bed, and then we're doing this process that Sean is doing. So Sean is just going in and he's popping the soil. He's not tossing it forward or moving it. And then we're coming along behind with these forks, and we're just kind of beating up the big chunks. And since we have the labor force, Dan's coming back, and she's just kind of, giving it a once over, right? So what we're trying to achieve through this process is a lot of soil tilth. Tilth is the aeration in your soil. See my hand right here? Get it down in there pretty easily. Think I could do that over there? No. Not at all, right? this is where the roots are going to be going, right? We're right now creating space, opening up the land so that the roots have a place to go and grow, right? This is like a good method of initial cultivation instead of rototilling, right? Remember we learned in rototilling how it creates that hard pan? Motions that go like this and down are really good for the soil. Anything that, you know, inverts the soil and turns it over and goes this way isn't the greatest for the soil. You're like changing the layers of the layer cake, right? You know what I mean? So what a lot of farmers will do is they'll do this single digging method, and then I believe more compost, another 2 inches of compost might be added on top of this, right? So by putting our amendments on top and then going back and doing what Sean is doing, we're putting our amendments into the ground here, the calcium and the clay, the calcium and the fishbone meal is going into the soil, but what else also, right? Light and air. Two really important things that we need to grow the ground. There was a lot of people saying, well, isn't this releasing carbon? Yeah. Right? Isn't this not what Paul Kaiser said? Right? This isn't what you want to do. But Paul was like, when the ground's too hard, you got to get in there sometimes. You know, you got to give the roots places to go. Some people would cultivate the ground like this every time after they dig. What I learned was to do this once or twice a year, at most.
I've come to places where they rototilled for 5 years before I got there, and I always heard that with rototilling, it actually destroys the soil structure, and you get really fine particles, and you get a vibrational pan at about 6 to 8 inches in the ground. And so I had to break through this vibrational plan, and I realized, like, I always knew it intellectually, but like, how do I do it with my body? Like, if you come to a place that's hard like this, what are you gonna do? You know, even if you pickaxe, which is an option, how do you do it that you don't hurt yourself? Like, if you want to break, you know, this is hard, you know, when you go in, you have to let go so you don't have that vibration going through you. If that's what you have to do, it's the only tool you have. Like, you have to, you know, you go in and you let go.
During most of the evening sessions, we had a nice potluck dinner right outside the classroom. One of those nights we had a fire, in which we learned about how to make biochar and how fire behaves, how the smoke and the volatile gases can be burned up by the fire to make a much less smoky fire. This one is just getting started, so it's pretty smoky right now. Later on this night, we had a really incredible talk by guest instructor Brandy Mack, all about social permaculture and really thinking about where you're coming from and where the people you're trying to help are coming from. A lot of those invisible structures that we don't always think about, but are really the most important part about designing for a certain people, a certain context. It was such a good conversation, in fact, that I forgot to take the camera out. So the first week of class was capped off by an incredible tour of the Occidental Arts and Ecology Center. This is a permaculture demonstration site and eco-village, as well as an educational center that's been around since the 70s. Brock is a resident there, one of the co-designers now, and he gave us a tour. There was so much amazing stuff covered in this tour that I decided to make it into a separate video. You can find the link in the description below. Thank you for watching.